This is a war of survival. Every kilometer, every strike counts. As Russian forces intensify their offensive across multiple fronts, Ukraine faces mounting losses, dwindling options, and a rapidly closing window to respond. Colonel Douglas Macgregor, a former U.S. Army officer, recently shed light on this urgent battlefield situation.
I think Zelensky will immediately pack his bags full of cash and gold, climb onto his private jet, and leave and fly to who knows where. Perhaps he'll fly to his Italian vineyards, this magnificent mansion that he's purchased, or perhaps he flies to Israel, which I know has offered him sanctuary. Of course, if I were he right now, I'm not sure that that's what I would do, given the very volatile situation there. But nevertheless, he'll just leave. He'll leave the place entirely. Who knows? But this whole thing is done. It's over. The population has suffered enough. It only gets worse from here. Not only are they going to freeze in the winter, but pretty soon they're going to go hungry. They're not going to eat. They won't have any fuel for their trucks, tractors, anything in Ukraine. So people need to wise up and recognize they're dealing with probably one of the greatest scam artists in the history of mankind, and that's Zelensky.
In Kursk region, Russian forces have made a critical breakthrough, smashing Ukrainian defenses near Novoivanovka on the 20th of December. Over 120 Ukrainian troops were killed and 16 armored vehicles destroyed in this decisive operation. Military expert Colonel Douglas Macgregor describes the assault as a calculated blow to destabilize Ukraine's northern line and force its troops to scatter. The advance, now stretching 6 kilometers deep toward Malaya Lokia, threatens Ukraine's vital supply routes. Meanwhile, explosions in Cherkasy and Kryvyi Rih have further crippled logistics in the region. Ukrainian drone strikes on Russian targets, including Kazan, caused little to no damage, as fires were contained within hours. Moscow's relentless strategy to dismantle Ukrainian resistance piece by piece is shifting the momentum. But while Kursk burns under pressure, Pokrovsk emerges as another decisive flashpoint. The battle for Pokrovsk intensified on the 21st of December. Russian troops captured Dachensky and advanced 8 kilometers toward Pishchane, eliminating 14 Ukrainian artillery units and over 200 defenders in the process. Inspector Scott Ritter commended these movements as precise and devastating, leaving Ukrainian positions completely isolated. In Karakova, Russian forces took Krasno and Santsivka, cutting key supply lines and reducing Ukrainian logistics capacity by 40%. Southward retreats by Kyiv's forces resulted in the loss of 2 HIMARS systems and heavy equipment, further weakening their hold on the region. These systematic and unrelenting advances reflect Moscow's multi-front pressure strategy, leaving Ukraine with fewer resources and options. As Pokrovsk collapses under pressure, we turn now to Velika Novosilka, where an encirclement threatens to seal another crushing defeat. On the 22nd of December, Russian forces completed the encirclement of Velika Novosilka, trapping over 2,500 Ukrainian soldiers. The capture of Zorizeve and Zelenivke proved pivotal, with Moscow destroying 18 armored vehicles and inflicting over 300 casualties during the assault. By cutting off supply lines to Konstantinopol, Russian forces have tightened the noose further. Ukrainian counterattacks on the 23rd of December failed disastrously, costing Kyiv 3 tanks and 40 personnel. The capture of Novoselivka now secures Russia's ability to launch further operations deeper into Ukrainian territory. This encirclement showcases Moscow's precision and strategy, isolate and neutralize key Ukrainian units one by one. With Velika Novosilka surrounded, the focus shifts to Donetsk, where another bold offensive is underway. On the 24th of December, Russian forces launched an audacious offensive into the city of New York, advancing 5 square kilometers into urban terrain. Heavy combat in Sherbayoka left over 150 Ukrainian troops dead and destroyed 4 armored vehicles in a single day. With drones providing real-time reconnaissance, Russian units overwhelmed fortified zones, seizing logistical hubs and forcing Ukrainian defenders into retreat. Inspector Scott Ritter warned that this offensive could destabilize Ukraine's entire Donetsk sector if successful. Kyiv's forces are scrambling for reinforcements as the potential loss of New York threatens to unravel their defenses in the region. Izan's burns under Russian pressure, the battle for Kupiansk grows even more desperate. Kupiansk is on the verge of collapse as Russian engineering efforts repaired a critical bridge over the Oskol River on the 23rd of December. This repair has allowed heavy reinforcements to pour into the region, enabling dual assaults from Dnepropetrovsk and riverside positions that have pinned Ukrainian troops. Over the past 48 hours, Ukraine has lost more than 400 personnel and 11 artillery units. Supply deliveries in the region have dropped by 50%, leaving Kyiv's defenders dangerously undersupplied. Colonel Douglas Macgregor emphasizes that the fall of Kupiansk would secure Russia a strategic corridor for future offensives. Ukraine's forces are overstretched, outgunned, and running out of time to stabilize the situation. With Kupiansk hanging by a thread, the stage is set for a new offensive in Orikhiv. Russian forces stand less than 10 kilometers from Orikhiv as of the 25th of December, preparing for a massive and decisive assault. Moscow has already inflicted significant damage, with precision strikes reducing Ukrainian fortifications by over 30%. Orikhiv's significance is underscored by its proximity to Robotyne, the site of Ukraine's failed counteroffensive in 2023. In the past 5 days, Ukraine has lost over 12 artillery units and 300 personnel, severely weakening its ability to defend the region. Analysts doubt Kyiv's ability to hold Orikhiv as Russian firepower intensifies. The city's fall would mark a turning point, both symbolically and strategically, in the broader conflict. They shift and escalate. Every advance reshapes this war's trajectory. Orikhiv may be the next decisive chapter in this relentless struggle. The battlefield shifts, but the pattern is clear. Relentless Russian pressure is dismantling Ukraine's defenses piece by piece. As these offensives escalate, the conflict's endgame draws closer.